And welcome back to the Hearthstone Premiership, everybody. We're slotted in for another exciting matchup as we will be carrying on here live from EGX in Birmingham. Joined once again by the dynamic duo themselves. Leroy switched up. He isn't going for the Magician today. He is going for the Assistant Teacher.
I like to change my outfit for something that always involves children. Pretty dangerous.
Good.
That is
Fantastic. We'll give you another ding. We'll play that off with a ding.
Sorry, everyone.
Lovely. Well, at least he's got the apology in immediately. Leroy.
Yes.
Keep it reasonable. How are we feeling about the games going into this one? Obviously, an exciting matchup. You seem like you were quite pumped for this one.
We're quite lucky that we get to see a lot of Mysterious's games today because he's playing very, very quick aggro decks. And
right.
You know what? I like an aggro deck. It's a punchy way to get through
Are you an aggressive man yourself?
Well, I do think that when you come to these sorts of UK tournaments, a lot of people are doing sort of wacky things. Some of them aren't sort of always the best top tier players. They're always playing sort of very slow, sort of janky decks. If you bring aggro, you punish that and you just win games. So I do like aggro decks in general.
Harry, you an aggressive man?
Not really. I'm more of a passive man. You know, I'm quite.
He's not a fighter. He's a lover.
Yeah.
He's a lovely boy.
I don't know, but you know, this time I'm gonna go for a bit of aggro. You know me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did tell Snods you could one-v-1 him in a boxing match, didn't you?
I
First
did
time
actually.
you met him,
yeah.
mate. Yeah.
I did keep saying to him, "Well, do you want to have a go?" But
you wanna do this charity boxing match, the one-on-one?
That is true, but what do you reckon? I might have the.
I reckon you take it, mate.
Do you reckon?
I reckon you take it.
Well, if he watches this back, we'll see. I know.
Yeah. But let's see who's going to take this series when we do get into the game. I believe the players are ready, so we can get them up on stage and then get underway with this one. We've had a lot of M&M today, and Mysterious, he was quite an enigma. We didn't really know what was going to come out of him. He seems very interesting from what we've seen so far in the tournament, and now he faces off against Boarcontrol, obviously falling short against Paradox in day one. That was a big surprise to us. What do we think is going to happen in this game? What's the storyline between these two?
It's quite an interesting matchup where Boarcontrol's bought Quest Rogue. It could be a deck that gets targeted a little bit by Mysterious, and his aggro lineup could potentially farm it quite hard. So it's going to be quite close going into this one.
And one thing I was going to add as well, you know, I spoke about Mysterious's placements for the last 4 seasons, getting at least top 3 every single time. And if he wins this match, he's guaranteed another top 3. And that's, even if he doesn't place the highest, even if he doesn't win the event, you know, to say you've done that at every single season final, that's pretty crazy stuff.
Consistency is key, but winning would always be better.
It would be nice. Yeah.
Boarcontrol, a former champion himself. Let's see what he had to say for himself earlier on in the day.
Hi, I'm Boarcontrol, and I represent Fate to Karma. What first drew me to Hearthstone was I liked card games, just playing with cards with my friends. One of my friends started playing Hearthstone, told me about it. I just started playing casually with him, realized there was a competitive ladder, and I just started playing that, and here I am today. The experience of playing at various ESL finals and against all these players numerous times, I feel gives me an edge in this tournament. Mysterious, Big Ben, Paradox, these people don't stream, you don't know what they're going to play unless you've played against them before in various finals. You know their play style, you know what decks they like. From that, I can try and build my lineup to try and counter theirs and maybe gain an edge in the tournament. To make it to the live finals, I've prepared extensively each week for each opponent. You know who you're going to play in advance before you submit your deck list, so you can prepare for them. Also, being full-time in Hearthstone, when some people aren't, I get a lot more time to prepare various decks, new cards, new decks that I can put in that they might not have thought of. So using my just full-time Hearthstone knowledge, I try and gain an edge just outplaying them in game and with the decks I bring. We have 4 people who have won the trophy once. No one's won it twice yet, so to win it twice would put me on the level like slightly above everyone else. So that's what the aim is here.
Boarcontrol there. The word boar reminds me of scoreboard. Interestingly enough, do you know where that word comes from?
No.
Score-bore, which was back from medieval times in the olden days, what they used to paint the numbers on in games they'd play. And it would be the score-bore when it'd run around with the numbers on.
That's pretty cool stuff.
It's not actually true, but if it was, it would be very intriguing. Either way, his opponent is also a mysterious man who can be rather intriguing. What are our thoughts on Mysterious overall, especially just on this run so far in the tournament? He's looking to try and get back in, secure that top 3. Will he be able to?
There is an opportunity here for, like, depending on what decks he has. Of course, he's gone very aggro this time, so it's very hit and miss, but especially with this lineup as well. You've got some lineups which, of course, Boar has, you know, it's those even knocks which can be hit and miss depending on the circumstance. If he gets Defiles early, gets his Hellfires early. It's very, very situational, not completely 50-50 depending on the lineup Boar has.
Well, Mysterious, he's a mysterious man. I'm going to keep working that one. You know, you've got to keep it up there. You've got to buff it on, obviously. But we do have some facts about him. Facts from his own mouth. Let's see what he had to say.
So I'm Mysterious in the game, and I'm playing for MLM Gaming. What put me in Hearthstone basically were my friends, because they started playing the game and they keep coming telling me, oh, you should try this game, it's really awesome. So I say, okay, I'm gonna try. And since that, I'm playing almost every day. I'm not truly worried to face anyone. I just think for the moment, Toastmonster, which is my teammate, might be probably one of the hardest opponents because he practiced so much this year, so I just don't really want to face him. So if I manage to beat all my opponents and win the competition, that will be a real achievement for me, because I've played this competition. It's the 5th time I'm here and I never won. I've always been really close, 2nd place, 3rd place. So I will be so happy, actually.
He's always up there, shooting stars, is our boy Mysterious, but will he be the biggest, brightest star this time, Harry? Is he going to be able to find victory here today?
Well, this is what we're here to find out with Mysterious as well. One thing to take into account is the fact that he's actually got the most match wins in the Prem so far, just because since he's made every single final, he's had more matches to play, and that's why he's been so consistent. So 5 seasons in a row, not too bad, but one thing to take into account is the fact that he's a very unorthodox player, and he is quite hard to read sometimes. Even though they're very aggressive decks he's playing with, sometimes it's quite hard to see exactly how he's going to go forward with some of the mulligans he has.
Well, Leroy, what do you think?
Personally, I'm not so sure. I think he's very relaxed behind stage. He's very calm and collected. But you know what? That's come into his play a bit. And some of the decisions he's made recently have had me thinking that he could be improving. He could make some adjustments to how he plays some games and how he sees them out that would help him win more. So it could come down to it eventually that he gets punished for one of these mistakes, and eventually he might get found out. So I'm hoping he ups his game a little bit. He's going to need to if he's going to beat Boarcontrol. Yeah, mistakes cannot be made. No, we'll get them next time. It's all about the now and the moment, right? There we go. Got a laugh from Harry. Every time he laughs, I get the bell in. It works. That's a nice shot. Look at that.
That is nice. To be fair, though, if you're going to ring that bell every time I laugh, you might as well ring it every 30 seconds, to be fair.
Pretty much, yeah. Just got to, you know.
I just laugh at everything, even if it's bad.
Yeah, that is standard Harry, to be honest with you. Leroy as well. He's a man that never laughs.
No,
so
stone face.
Yeah, just always
nothing is
constant,
funny.
Hates humour. Leroy hates humour, Nick.
That's what it will say on my gravestone when I... He hated humour.
Rip.
I quite like it when the players are sat here and they're sort of thinking about what they're doing and...
Oh, I was going to just give you this, mate. I got a little bit of information for you. We do have to pick some bands. And oh, you know what? I had it there. I didn't have time to write it down because I've got Leroy off guard. Yeah, it's gone. There was about a moment or two. But Boarcontrol has gone for the ban on the Druid. Oh. No, that was his ban. There we go. He went for the ban on the Druid. Well, that was his ban. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah, don't worry. I've got you.
You get it.
Yeah.
And Mysterious's Rogue has been banned. So those are the bans for that series. It's the Druid and the Rogue.
Okay, quite interesting. It seems that Boarcontrol's more worried about the Druid than anything else, and he thinks he can probably get a win with his Quest Rogue against one of the sort of the other aggressive decks, like the Paladin, for example, which is a point of contention actually in the pro community about how well Quest Rogue does against aggro Paladin. So that's a matchup I'm very excited to see, and hopefully it comes up sort of immediately.
Yeah, that would be the ideal one. Is that a debacle that's going on behind the scenes?
Oh, yeah, they've had show matches and arguments, and someone even bet, like, they were betting money on like how many games they could win against each other. Yeah. So
someone's going to be a little bit out of pocket then, aren't they?
It's all very serious.
The pro opinion is that the Quest Rogue beats the Paladin if you're a good player. So I obviously don't win, but like if you're a good player, apparently you beat Paladin with Quest Rogue more often than not.
That means we will definitely win them.
Yeah, so would Falcone lose?
Falcone wouldn't just lose, he'd get humiliated.
Oh, humiliation. One of these two players is going to face humiliation as we are ready for the game. Mysterious versus Boarcontrol. We're going to be diving into the action. Guys, let's get into it.
Thank you very much, Jackie. I'm not going to lie, that last bit completely threw me off. And of course the buzzer from Jackie just to finish things off anyway, and break it as well, of course.
So in this mulligan, what's happened here is that Mysterious has gone first. He's picked up his Glowtron, which actually is only a one-of in his deck. So he's going to get an aggressive start, per se. He's going to get some traction on the board quite quickly. And it's going to come down to whether Boarcontrol is able to pick up and use his board clear tools effectively, such as the Defile that he's got in his hand already, and the Hellfire that can sort of come out at any point if he starts tapping and drawing some more cards.
Yeah, in terms of Boar's mulligan at the moment, it's not looking too bad. He does have that Drake to play later on at turn 4 when he gets it to around 4-9. He can play that Vulgar early as well, but a couple of things to take into account is the fact that, of course, the Drake will be 1 less HP, which doesn't matter too much. And, of course, if that Giant does come out after he taps a few times, it won't be able to get it out straight away. So he needs to make a decision whether to play that Vulgar at that turn 2 or maybe just wait till later on.
Yeah, the good thing about the Vulgar Homunculus as well is that it sets up for sort of nicer defile turns as well in the future, because it doesn't immediately just get traded off the board. It can bump into the Glowtron that's already on board. It can sort of take away some of the health on the board and set up for nice defiles.
Well, he's good at Ooze, but won't be too useful now until at least
I think
more turns.
I think that's a key pickup. We saw very, very early on in the first series of the tournament when Boarcontrol played against Paradox, he wasn't able to pick. Well, he was looking for Oozes the whole time to try and beat his opponent's Super Collider. And he was actually quite frustrated afterwards because he couldn't find it. Here he's found it. Mysterious already has the Vine Cleaver in hand. He's going to be able to, well, to just dispatch the Vine Cleaver, which is one of those cards that can just run away with the game. And knowing that information now, having that available to him so early, gives him sort of freedom to not tap, to choose to sort of play cards on curve a little bit first and take the game a bit easier, because he has answers to some of the ways that Mysterious can win.
Yeah, that's one thing to talk about as well, is the fact that with Boar in the previous series when we saw him earlier in the winners bracket, but obviously now this is a losers one at the point. He was very unlucky with certain draws he got. You know, that Hadronox, that came out like, almost at the end of the game. There's another time when it was at card 25, another kind of situation which, you know, could have come a little bit earlier, but sadly for him, he had all the ingredients, but not the main tool to, you know, proc it in any way. But yeah, you know what? That Ooze is going to be a massive, massive deal breaker, and he's going to be so happy that even though he's had a little bit too early, at this kind of stage, you normally keep most of your cards in hand anyway, especially as even knock. But, you know, one thing he's got to do is make sure the ball doesn't get too wide. And it's like I said before, you know, just keep smashing that on.
That's what the Paladins
power,
do,
pretty much, yeah.
They just hero power. It's harder against against the Warlock, right? You need to hero power a lot. You need to be able to threaten that you're going to play your big turn 5. So whether that's a level up or a Fungalmancer. So he needs to keep up the guys that we can see that he doesn't have level up or Fungalmancer, but Boarcontrol won't know that, and it's actually better for Boarcontrol to play around that. So as in fact what he's doing here, as you can see, as I said, because he's got the use, he doesn't need to tap. He can just coin out a Drake. He can fight for board early to sort of play around having to be forced to AoE early as well.
And as you were saying it as well, what do you see? That nice little level up there. He's getting ready to possibly play that turn 5, depending on how much will be traded. I assume that in this kind of position, he will still have 3 dudes up there anyway. And Boar's just got to try and figure out a way on what else he can do. Now, he does have that Defile anyway for later when it is his turn, so it's not too bad. But it depends how overzealous Mysterious is. If he wants to get, you know, 4 more dudes up now, or obviously 3 in this case, due to the amount of minions on the board at the moment.
Oh, certainly. And something else to consider is that he wants to be able to... He wants to be able to threaten this, but he also wants to bait out some removal as well. Because it's not going to kill him if he's able to level up on this board, for example, right? It's going to deal 15 damage. Boarcontrol's at effectively 25. So Boarcontrol can potentially find turns himself where he can let Mysterious play the level up and then respond to it. Sort of post level up and heal and taunt afterwards, and sort of remove that threat later on from killing him. If you know, see what I mean?
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. I love how I was like looking at you. I was just like, what is this guy talking about? Like, is he on the same match as me? But no. That's perfectly understandable. And yeah, what a time to get to Defile. And of course, that beta was 2-2, and it's a perfect way to proc it, including getting that Void Rip out the way straight away. And yeah, it's just that Vine Cleaver play. I just want to see Mysterious's face when that Ooze gets played. Like, because yeah, it's going to be quite a savoury reaction.
It's one of those heartbreaking moments as the aggro deck where the early game hasn't gone very well for you. He's obviously only done 7 damage or so, and a lot of that was done by Boarcontrol to himself when he taps and plays Vulgar Homunculi. And he's going to be devastated that he's... Sorry, I really like that I said Vulgar Homunculi there.
That's why I just say Vulgar, just keep it short and sweet.
And he's going to be devastated that he hasn't pushed enough damage that means that Boarcontrol has to sort of overreact to things. So when he gets the bad news, when he gets hit by the vine, or by the weapon on the vine, or by the moves on the Vine Cleaver, it's going to sort of break his heart a little bit, I'm afraid. Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. Now that you said that, I'm going to feel sorry for him a little bit, but because at this stage, he hasn't really got any one drop to kind of complement it in any way. You know, yeah, sure, fair enough, he can hero power, but then again, that's what he wanted the Vine Cleaver for, so he can get enough on the board, use that level up, maybe in the Fungalmancer, but he probably will have to Fungalmancer at this stage, considering the situation he's in. But let's look at the other side as well. Boar, he has that Hellfire, he has the Spellstone as well if he gets into a little bit of trouble. Does have a Death Knight if anything gets taunted, which of course not, but again, he's got Lich King as well. He's just got so many variants at this stage.
Oh, for sure. This is one of those situations that I was talking about before, where Boarcontrol is really considering how much he needs to remove here. If he just goes for the Shroom Brewer, which is on the far left of his hand, he can bait Mysterious into playing one of those powerful 5-drops when it doesn't actually do much on the board and it doesn't really affect too much. And then he can obviously just clear back up with the Hellfire or a Spellstone. Then the following turn, Mysterious plays the weapon. He has the removal for the weapon as well. What he said is, do you know what? I'm clearing now. I've decided that actually I just want to have a clear board so that I can potentially gain some initiative, slam down this Lich King in a couple of turns, use the Spellstone to remove, which is fair enough. That's also quite a reasonable line to take.
I'm just looking forward to turn 7, to be fair, mate.
Yeah. Is that what we're waiting for?
Yeah.
Is this like a club where we just sit here and wait for disappointment on someone else's face?
Yeah, we're quite harsh, actually, aren't
yeah.
we?
Are we evil?
I don't know, but I was just checking to see if you've actually lost a board, but you haven't, so I can't make some kind of comeback there.
Well, I remember that Season 1, very first season of the Premiership, I beat Boarcontrol 3-0 early days, and it was a big moment for me. Since then, all been downhill, and unfortunately, I can't compete at this level as often as these guys have, because obviously Mysterious, super consistent, always winning. Boarcontrol, he's actually won the thing. So
yeah, well, you could have done.
Always the bridesmaid's bridesmaid, never the bride. Just want to be a bridesmaid. So here, Mysterious is obviously sort of lamenting the fact that his board has been cleared and that he's got all these powerful 5-drops in hand that he can't really use effectively. To this turn, it's going to have to be sort of one of those difficult turns where he Fungalmances but doesn't actually use it to push any damage. He's just played it, and he's going to hope that, like, for example, it could get silenced or it could get Spellstoned here, or Boar could sort of even ignore it a little bit. Boar, on the other hand, will be saying, oh, I used my Hellfire last turn. Maybe that was a bit preemptive. Maybe I should have waited with the Hellfire and sort of just used the Shroom Brewer, let him do the Fungalmancer turn so that I could do it this turn to clear up a lot more stuff and effectively trade my card for more of his cards.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. Sadly for him, though, with Boar, he's still in a very good place. Gets his first giant a little bit too late, but has it nonetheless. Not necessarily at this stage. It would be nice, like, you know, to complement it with a Sunfury or anything like that, but not really too necessary at this stage. You need to decide whether to silence his minions straight away now anyway, but like I said before, he still has that level up in hand and decides to use it. It was a little bit too early.
Yeah, he's probably painted himself into a corner there by using the AoE so early. He's made it so that it's actually not been easy for him to hold cards there and hoard cards, and he's had to play the use a turn before the Vine Cleaver comes out. What this does to Mysterious, though, is he thinks, well, he runs 2 oozes in his deck.
Does he have a second
Why would
one?
he play that one there if he didn't just have a second one in hand already? So it's like a bit of a mind games that's probably unintentionally been created by Boarcontrol, which I quite like.
Yeah, that's quite true, because you know, you can easily get baited in and out. I completely understand. And of course, with 2 oozes, it's very easy because he might just think, you know what, I'll play one now. If there's a Vine Cleaver, you know what, I'll just play a second one. So yeah, very understandable as to why. But now it's got an even better chance to, you know, make more of that level up to actually be a lot more cost effective this time.
Yeah, things are definitely tricky for him now because the level up's still in hand. Boarcontrol wasn't sort of able to bait it or to get it to come out as early as he wanted. He had to. He used his AoE clear early to potentially push for board, which hasn't worked. It's a line he committed to, though, which I respect, because what he did is the turn after he obviously played the Spellbreaker and the Ooze to try and, again, commit to board, even though he knew that he was going to play into a Vine Cleaver. He was just hoping it wasn't there. It's just a line that hasn't worked this time. It's probably something, obviously, Boarcontrol's a very experienced player, that works more often than not, where he finds himself getting bored against a Paladin like this and actually just taking the game away.
And that's it. And of course, since he's back to 17 HP, he won't be able to get any of those 7/7 Reavers until later on. But doesn't matter. He hasn't had any Reavers, which makes too much difference anyway. And that's what's been quite surprising. We've only seen like one Giant, and we've seen no Reavers at all. But sometimes that can happen. You know, you're not going to get all 6 pieces of the puzzle to get any beefy minis out as quick as possible, which is understandable. And at the moment, this could be a good opportunity to make use of this level up if you use it.
Yeah, so he puts Boarcontrol down to 4 health here. And Boarcontrol now cannot tap to find the Hellfire that saves him. He has to find the Hellfire and the Spellstone. I think actually he could go Hellfire plus Shroom Brewer, but I think it's just too tricky and it's too much, and he's gone.
Yeah, that was quite a shame, really. There was, he was in a very good spot to begin with, and Mysterious knew one Hellfire was already gone. One end of the files was gone from earlier as well when he was doing, a little bit of clean-up duty here and there. But even with that Sun Fury before, there wasn't really too much he could have done with it, just due to the fact that it would have just eaten straight through it anyway. But so far, 1-0 straight off the bat. It's been a little bit surprising considering the circumstances right at the beginning.
Yeah, those matchups are sort of 50-50, that one. But I suspect that Boarcontrol won't be happy about the way that he used his Hellfire, sort of considering how the game panned out. It's a bit results orientated. At the time, it looked like it was a reasonable use of the card, but it's turned out to be sort of a situation that sort of let him down a little bit. Yeah,
I felt like, do you reckon things would have been a little bit different if, like, he used that ooze for the Vine Cleaver? But one thing I was going to say, Toastmonster's joined us. How you doing, mate?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. See, it's nice when someone actually asks back to see how I'm doing, because I always say how other people are doing, and we're just like, yeah, good. Never ask me.
Yeah. I've been making a point to never ask Lethal how he's doing.
It's okay, I've been doing the same for you. Have you noticed that, like, few years that we've known each other, I've never asked?
You've never asked me how I am. No, it's all gone wrong.
I met you once, I was like, I'm never asking that guy.
Because when you ask me, I go into like a 5-minute spiel about my life, and you're like, why did I bother? What was the point?
Yeah, normally I'm just looking for, yeah, I'm alright, how are you? But no, you actually think I'm asking.
And then, like, Nick will just give you, like, his life story, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you make of the matchup so far and how this is panning out?
It's kind of a little bit unexpected. I mean, Boarcontrol doesn't seem to be on form, does it? I mean, I know some people might say that form's a myth, but I just think he's maybe not performing to the level he was kind of hoping he would coming into this.
Yeah. He's like around the 50% mark. He's not really showed his true form, is he? Like his final transformation, like.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe that's what we'll see here. He turns into his final form and just devours the stage or something.
Well, considering the circumstances he's in, I think he needs to. If not, yeah, we probably won't see him tomorrow, to be fair.
Yeah.
So we've got a Hunter sort of, well, not a mirror matchup, but a Hunter matchup here where it's Boar with the slower sort of Egg Hunter, Cube Hunter coming up against Mysterious with his secret deck, which Boar obviously knows really well, seeing this is the deck that is his deck, effectively. What do we think about this then, Toast? Because you're obviously the pro player. You've practiced a lot of these matchups because this is obviously a deck that you've brought so far.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those really interesting matchups where Mysterious is Boarcontrol deck.
I love how it's just his only. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I've seen your deck, I'll take that, thank you.
Yeah, he definitely has the powerful early game, and it's him that's looking to sort of set the pace of the game. But as we progress into sort of the later turns, sort of turning around to sort of turn 6, turn 7, the Death Rattle Hunter that Boarcontrol is on is the deck that sort of has the more powerful late game and starts taking the control of the game there, really. So Mysterious needs to look to push this early tempo, which we can see with this 1-drop coin Razormaw to get an adapt, and then just sort of not let Boarcontrol get to those turns where he can swing the board with things like Deathstalker Rexar and Cube Playdeads, things like that.
It's looking like it could be one of those games where Mysterious is able to capitalize quick enough and get the damage through. All he needs to do is pick up some sort of buff or like a second Razormaw or a Houndmaster for the Wind-Furied Mole, and suddenly a Mole starts looking a lot more threatening. Yeah,
normally you wouldn't think so in this kind of situation as well. But look at Mysterious side. It does have a Freezing Trap and Snake Trap as well anyway. It does have that weapon if he wants to trade. But let's be honest, we don't really want to trade with that egg, do we?
No, definitely not. I mean, the argument is that if Boarcontrol has an activator, he's going to get the 5/5 anyway. There's no real way, unless he does things like Flanking Strike his own egg, which you're kind of happy with anyway, because then it's not on your minion, then it doesn't really have a way of proccing. The only argument is that Boarcontrol plays things like a Mossy Horror, so maybe if you have a Mossy Horror board with things like the Snake Trap we see in hand, for instance, or maybe a Venom Strike Trap, then that's an argument for it. But Mysterious does seem to disagree here, going to go with the Freezing Trap, which actually kind of makes sense when he was going to be floating 2 mana anyway, maybe doesn't want a hero power.
Yeah, I was wondering whether you could have ignored the egg entirely, played the Freezing Trap, and then you let your opponent activate the egg with potentially the 3/3 that triggers the Death Rattle, and then you kill the 3/3 yourself with the bow that you've already got in hand, forcing him to attack with the 5/5 at sort of a lot slower pace, activating the trap.
I think I liked that as well, to be honest. I mean, fitting these hero powers in is potentially quite important because you do need to connect this damage through to kill Boarcontrol. If you give him infinite amount of time, then he just gets there with those later game powerful turns, like I mentioned earlier. And also, by leaving the egg, you sort of make him have the activator. That's a big thing in Hearthstone, making your opponent have the thing that they need to not get in order to punish you with that.
And this is the problem as well, like with Boar's Rexar as well, it's like you mentioned, like, the later it's going to get into the game, the more Mysterious is going to struggle because he hasn't got that yet. He's got a few options here, as you can see from now, with the Houndmaster, with the Diamond, that's going to really do some damage at some point. And of course, with that weapon and the Hero Power as well. He's going to have a little bit of difficulty, so he may have to try and end this a little bit quicker than he thought.
Well, I think he's going to be counting his damage here. We know that Mysterious so far has played sort of very board-orientated. He likes to trade. He likes to make sure that he's not dying or killing things like this. But honestly, like, he's got the kill command, he's got the bow, he's got the Hound Master, he's got the Wind Fury. He can push a lot of damage before Boarcontrol can get out of hand here, and he can keep some cards back in hand sort of for later, which means that the Witchwood Grizzly that Boarcontrol has drawn has less health and is sort of easier for him to get through moving forwards.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we saw that Mysterious killed the Houndmaster, sure. That makes sense with the freezing trap on the board. You just can't leave other minions on the board to get rushed and soak that freezing trap. We see here Boarcontrol kind of recognize that that probably is freezing trap. Mysterious pretty openly told him, I'm playing freezing trap here, otherwise why would I be proccing the egg? So Boarcontrol just playing around that, not actually making attacks, and the Houndmaster, sure, is obviously just a must kill at that point.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we saw Boarcontrol as well. Like, we've seen him make some mistakes before. Like, I think was it him? I think before where did he lose to Paradox? I think with that MC Tech play with him. So I love how he's got 2 MC Techs in his hand, and he's probably getting like bad flashbacks already just from seeing it at this stage. But yeah, already born now, down to 19 HP.
And you see Mysterious there, he's been reminded that Witchwood Grizzly exists, and he's hero powering, he's keeping some cards in hand, and he's protecting his Wind Fury to try and push the damage. Unfortunately, the one punish that Boarcontrol has, oh, actually, aside from a flanking strike that would already have come out, is Rexxar. He's got it, he's cleared the board now. So it's sort of a punish for him not keeping the 4-3 around. Yeah,
I mean, alternatively, there were things like Hunter's Mark, but Hunter's Mark would have been pretty good, actually, for you if you're Mysterious, when you've got this sort of this Subject 9 and an Animal Companion in hand. That could be a 4-4.
Yeah, and honestly, he'd have probably played it earlier. Mysterious should be able to have the read that Hunter's Mark would have come out already. So I'd have probably liked it a bit more there if Mysterious had kept his 4-3 around. I think what he's still thinking is he's thinking about a bit more board control, pushing the damage a bit slower than some sort of other players would potentially go for. It's just his style. And trying to grind the game a bit more, which doesn't always work against Deathstalker Rexxar, and doesn't always work against sort of the high-impact death rattles that are going to start to come out on Boarcontrol's side of the board.
Yeah, do you kind of feel like now that Boar's in a position where he can kind of take his time a little bit, and depending on what kind of minions he gets when he uses that hero power anyway, of course he could put the high main down anyway just to get a little bit board control straight away, but it's not obviously completely necessary.
Yeah, so obviously the Deathstalker Rexxar was great because it was able to clean up the Wind Fury buffed Diamol, but in terms of tempo, he doesn't actually get to develop anything onto the board. This freezing trap is still in play, so this 5-5 doesn't actually get to attack, and it just gives Mysterious the board initiative again. Usually this Hunter deck that Mysterious is playing doesn't actually have the most powerful board development. It relies on snowballing early game minions and getting the damage in that way, but Subject 9 is actually a great refill here, and he even picked up a 1-drop to go along with it, so it just gives Mysterious the initiative again, like I was saying, and Boarcontrol is going to have to develop into it. At some point, he's going to have to attack into the freezing. With this Katharina pickup, I think that's probably what's made him want to do that, because that can pull things like a Charged Devilsaur out of your deck, and you definitely don't want to get that frozen, because then it becomes 11 mana and you can't actually ever play it.
I was thinking, though, it would have been better if Mysterious had left the egg as an egg. Boarcontrol would have 3 less health. The egg wouldn't have been able to proc the freezing trap at any point. We can see as the game has gone on that by forcing Boarcontrol to have the activator, which he hasn't actually had this game, he would have sort of slowed down his turns or made it more difficult for him. And now there'd be a board where there's a high main, a freezing trap up, and Mysterious would be less worried about sort of the potential effects of this high main, the way that it can trade into the board, sort of silence some of the stuff that's going on. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I really wasn't a fan of killing the egg. This Death Rattle Hunter deck is just so loaded with powerful Death Rattles, things like Spider Bomb, like Katharina. The egg is obviously itself, but I mean, even just high main later on, a couple of 2-2s against this Hunter deck can do quite a lot. You play things like Secret Keepers if you can't buff them, they're just 1-2s. It gives you things to trade into, like a Wandering Monster, for instance, or an Animal Companion Huffer. So I too would have liked to see the egg still be on board here.
Do you feel like he's just not panicking a little bit, but just trying to be extra cautious? Maybe just, it wasn't just that it was a bit of a misplay, he just kind of made that assumption that he has something to initiate that Death Rattle, maybe thought it was better get out of the way now, rather in case it lets get a little bit out of hand?
Yeah, it is one of those things where maybe we are being a little bit results-oriented here, but the only real punish was if they had the double activator, so the Terrascale Stalker and the Play Dead. But I think that's just so unlikely at sort of any stage of the game where they haven't played things like tracking, and he'll have known from the mulligan how many cards he kept, and obviously we saw that it wasn't available to all be kept in the mulligan there. So yeah, I definitely think Mysterious was maybe playing around ghosts a little bit.
And it starts to matter here as well. That's the thing. So Boarcontrol's obviously, well, thinking about his health, thinking about protecting himself. And Mysterious is obviously thinking about how he can get his opponent down to, well, 0 health, because he's the aggressor in the situation. The longer they go game. Well, sometimes he's thinking about how he can clear the board. So he's thinking about how he can sort of find the outs, deal with this Witchwood Grizzly and keep going face. He was obviously very aggressive last turn. He attacked the face with the bow that he equipped. It's a sad situation where he's missing the 2 damage from the hero power, because the differences at this point in the game can be quite key. But he's going to punch through this Grizzly. He's going to set up a board which is lethal next turn if Boarcontrol can't sort of do something. And doing something probably involves playing this Spider Bomb, playing a tracking or top decking an activator, and just bombing away some of the minions that Mysterious has on the board. Yeah,
obviously we've now seen the activator picked up, but there's obviously options for Boarcontrol to build a beast as well. Things like Lifesteal Beast in a Vicious Scalehide or something would be very, very key here. And that's where things like missing the hero power earlier actually come in. But I mean, I know we've hammered on about it at this point, but imagine if there was a freezing trap on this board still.
Yeah, definitely.
It'd be a disaster for Boarcontrol.
It'd be a nightmare.
He'd be enjoying himself pretty much anyway. But he's going to MC anyway, so we're going to see exactly what he takes. But, you know, I can't complain with that compared to the 1-3-1 when he could have had. Secret Keeper wouldn't have been too bad, either considering the circumstances. But he's played most of his secrets now anyway.
Well, yeah, this is a very big turn for Boarcontrol. I mean, he even has the option to then go for the Spider Bomb into Terrascale. If he really wants to just clean everything up here, he pretty much knows what all these secrets are. There's 1 freezing trap in Mysterious's deck. That's gone, so the other 4 just basically have to be every other secret. So he knew that a Venom Strike and a Snake Trap would be coming out here most likely.
Yeah, and what he's doing is he's making the board sort of well, I was going to say as small as possible so that he can get the other MC tech off, but I wondered if there was a potential out where he could have thought about going Spider Bomb and Stalker to try and kill off the Secret Keeper without actually having to trade into it.
I think after Boarcontrol stole the Misha there and getting the 4-4 taunt on board, he was free to do a lot more, so now he has to think of, well, how can Mysterious make something big? It's something like getting his own Raxar, building a big beast, or things like Spellstone where he can just make a wide board of sort of medium things. So he's then been able to hold that Spider Bomb Terrascale back. And I think that's why we saw him go for the MC tech first rather than Spider Bombing and just trying to clear 1 minion and changing his odds that way.
Yeah, it does make perfect sense. To be fair, his 2 MC techs were really good. He could have been not in a bad spot, it would have been okay. It's just due to the fact that the 2 minions he got were pretty decent.
Oh, they're pretty key. The taunt there has again just highlighted how sort of without the taunt, Mysterious would have been able to push 3 damage. He'd have been able to set up a situation where potentially just a kill command and a couple of hero powers just does him. It's still in that position. Like, Boarcontrol's got a tricky board to deal with here. He's got a lot of 3/3s that he probably needs to trade in if he's not able to find, well, a taunt minion like that or a lifesteal with rush or some sort of rush answer. So it's not over yet, but it's starting to look like it could go Boarcontrol's way, and it could be that Mysterious misses out by just a couple of damage.
Yeah, Boarcontrol looking to proc the Katharina here, because if he gets the charge, the King Brush here, I think this is actually lethal for Boarcontrol. Yeah, this is just lethal on board now.
Yeah, I think that's 26,
crikey.
including the hero power. So the hero power, so the weapon 27.
It's even more with the wolf. So he could have done with checking for that first.
Just doing a bit of quick math, just double check.
There's never a punish for building the beast, is there? You can always see what you get.
Oh, he's going for the adapt. Does he know it's lethal, or is he focused on clearing the board? Because that's happened before at the Prem.
Have we missed this?
No, I think this is lethal. It's definitely lethal.
Is there a secret up that could be impacting this?
No, it's not. Okay, that's 27.
Okay. And it's not blocking because
and there's
the
a full
board's
board, yeah.
When I saw that, I thought to myself, is he trying to look for Wind Fury or something to try and like clean up, or just try and get +3 attack? But anyway, it doesn't matter. Board does manage to take that. Managed to draw things 1-1 now, and I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit worried. I was thinking to myself, don't try and look for +3 Wind Fury, just end it.
Yeah, I mean, those sort of situations, you always hate when people just trade into the board. I know I've done it myself at tournaments as well, and your opponent just starts emoting you, and you're thinking, oh, I look like an idiot now. Hope no one else is seeing this.
Look at him there, he's like scrunching up his eyes. He looks really sort of distressed. I think it's because he knows that he's not playing his best. And
I'm not actually sure if that is. I think that's just Boarcontrol's face. Like, every time I see him playing, he looks like this. So it's that little smirk from him now.
So what do you two think of these 2 decks so far? So far from each side, as you can see, it can be a little bit even in some ways, but what do you both think? Because obviously you two are the experts, you know, with the opinions and everything. How do you think it's going to go anyway?
I'd say one of us is more of an expert.
Yeah, well,
is it me?
Yeah, no problem, Nick. I just wanted to throw it over to you.
Learn from me. Honestly, I think that Boarcontrol is probably probably looking a little bit favoured here. I think he's got more ability to sort of beat Mysterious's Druid here, if that's the case. And
yeah, the issue for Boarcontrol is maybe going to be getting this Quest Rogue through. We've seen in Fino did a show match between Quest Rogue and Token Druid, and it did go in favour of the Quest Rogue, but there were definitely things that both sides could have done to maybe sway games either way. So that's definitely a really close matchup, and it could be Boarcontrol's Quest Rogue that he struggles to get through against Mysterious. Mysterious does have quite an aggressive lineup, and Quest Rogue typically struggles with aggressive decks. Obviously, with the introduction of cards like Giggling and Mentor, that's not as severe as it once was, but that still is the weakness of that deck.
Yeah, you're definitely right, because I think Mysterious in this whole tournament has literally got the most aggressive lineup. Don't get me wrong, you see a lot of like Evonoxy in there, a lot of odd rogues as you normally do, but with him, he's literally just gone full aggro. He's just not mucking about, really. Yeah,
me and him kind of independently came to the same conclusion, actually, which was unfortunate we met on the same side of the bracket. It would have been interesting to see how, if we both were on opposite sides, how aggro would have done on
just have an aggro laugh, really.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how this goes anyway. I think Boar at this stage, in terms of his even lock, it's not the best of mulligans, as you could say. Don't worry, you have got Hellfinder File, but it depends on like the egg situation if it does manage to proc it early, especially with that tracking as well.
It's a bit of a mind games, really, because I was watching the mulligan. Boarcontrol kept Hellfire. He's actually kept the Ooze as well, I believe, because I think he wants to deal with a bow, I think. But he kept the Hellfire, and Mysterious didn't keep the Spellstone. So Boarcontrol's kept the Hellfire because he knows that one of the ways that he loses this game early is if Mysterious buffs up the Spellstone, creates a bunch of 3/3s, and he can't deal with it. Mysterious thinks, well, he's going to keep Hellfire, he's going to have Hellfire. I'm not going to keep the Spellstone in case, well, just to deal with that.
Well, the other argument there is that, yes, obviously Hellfire is a perfect answer to Spellstone, but if we look at this early board and how it sets up, the way that the Hunter wins these games is by snowballing those early boards, either with the Secret Keeper into Secrets, buffing it, or things like Diamol into a Razormaw. And Hellfire helps deal with those as well. So I think Hellfire is actually just a very, very powerful card in this matchup, regardless of Spellstone or not.
Oh, certainly. He's looking already like, well, Mysterious has got the perfect start. He's gone first, he's played a Diamol, he's played a Razormaw, and he's got a 4/3 that's already chunking away at Boarcontrol's life.
That's the only problem, is the fact that he's got those 2 Reavers in his hand already. So it's going to make you think, well, how much damage does he want to do? Does he want to go straight for face and see if he can end it really quickly? But then again, with those 2 Reavers, if it does get a bit out of hand at this stage, can easily just coin one out and do the exact same thing again afterwards.
He certainly can.
Yeah, it's always really interesting, these matchups, how much people choose to play around the Reaver, particularly really early. I'm kind of a fan of the school of thought where in the really early game, I'm just gonna set them to 15. It's the time they least likely have the Reaver, and if you deal the damage early, get them below 15, start weaving in those hero powers and fitting in that too, it makes it much more awkward for them to do things like Hellfire, because suddenly they put themselves into kill command range and hero power range, and it just makes their turns more awkward. And if they have a slightly clunky hand, I mean, in Boarcontrol's list, it's quite heavy. He's running the Lich King and the Bone Mare. They're, you know, just 8-cost cards that if they have to tap to find more cards and they've taken more damage and you've just been pushing all the early damage, then you're just going to kill them.
Yeah. It also like creates this huge like mana problem where you've got all the cards, you have all the answers, you want to play a Hellfire and a Taunt and a Spellstone, but you've got 4 mana, so you can't actually do that. You can choose to Taunt or you can choose to play the Hellfire to clear the board, and suddenly it doesn't even matter that you've played a 7/7 with Taunt because they just go through it and then keep going through you as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is the problem he's going to have now. He's still trying to decide exactly what he wants to do here now, because he can use that weapon to trade anyway to keep some kind of board presence, but this is the problem he's with board. He does have that Drake in hand, which he can make into 4/6 straight away. Not the biggest help, but at least he can get something going and out the way anyway. Does have that Hellfire, but I assume he'd probably want to save that for a more, you know, opportune occasion and make sure it's a lot more cost effective here.
I thought Mysterious had quite a nice turn there. He was thinking about it quite a lot. The other option to what he did was to play the Venom Strike trap, hero power the opponent and put him to 14, well, yeah, to 14 health, which would have activated the 7/7, which is what we were discussing, but also meant that if Boarcontrol had tried to trade the Spellbreaker into one of the minions and stop Mysterious from getting through so easily, he would actually have just triggered the Venom Strike trap and had his 7/7 die for almost nothing.
He would just get really triggered, wouldn't
he? It'd just
really
be poisoned.
Yeah.
And then he could follow that up with a Spellstone. And as we said, Boarcontrol's answer to the Spellstone is to Hellfire. He suddenly puts himself even lower. And it looks very, very good for Mysterious at that point. So the line that Mysterious has taken, again, is what we expect from Mysterious. It's a bit more conservative. He's looking at Boarcontrol a little bit more. And it's meant that he's placed a Spellstone onto an empty board after baiting out a Hellfire, which It's probably worked out in his favour.
Yeah, I think if Mysterious had maybe, I don't know how much he does track things like mulligans, but he saw that Boarcontrol kept some cards, right? And he then ended up tempoing out the Ooze, which was a card he kept. So obviously, he can read into that there's not a second Ooze. And that might be why he was thinking to the weapon. But he also kept the Hellfire, right? And if he's kept one Ooze, that's another card that he would look to keep in the matchup. So I think he could have maybe read that Hellfire was there. And I think I agree with you. I think I would have liked to see the secret hero power come out just because of the pan out, like you said. I mean, the worst case is that he just sends the 4-3 to face and Hellfires you. And if you're Mysterious in this position, your health total is largely irrelevant. As long as you don't die to the, a Hellfire, so you need to be on more than 3 health, then there's just no real burst damage from Boarcontrol's deck that you need to be concerned about.
Yeah, because right now he is running out of options. He can use a tracking anyway just to see what else he can get to kind of complement this. I was a little bit worried at one stage because he only had that Hellmaster, but he managed to get something done anyway, which is the main thing. But again, look at this, he's got another Hellfire, so if something does happen, then of course he at least got an out there anyway. And he's still got another 7/7 and a Drake. The only problem is the fact that, he may not have that Sun Fury with the Drake or anything like that, but he's got so many other options in terms of taunt cards now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, getting the Spellstone double upgraded is huge in this matchup as well. It just gives Boarcontrol so much more time. He can see that there's not that much more minion damage coming out anytime soon. This 2/4 doesn't actually die on board, so no damage is coming this turn, unless something like an Animal Companion is picked up. And just gives him time to maybe life tap if he thinks this hand won't do it. With no healing, it probably won't, but it lets him play this Mountain Giant, it lets him play the Twilight Drake and the Hooked Reaver, and then just be able to take Boarcontrol. And I mean, I said health total is largely irrelevant, but Mysterious is actually down to 16 here because he did choose to tank the minion with the bow last turn. So if a Mountain Giant sticks for a couple of turns, that could just be game over.
Yeah, I was thinking I quite like Boarcontrol's turn as well because it was just max heal, max taunt, which I want to see in this situation. I don't want to leave myself dead to potential kill command outs or anything that can potentially be dodgy for me, which Mysterious has now sunk. He sunk the kill command into the 2/4, went face the 3/3. That's sort of missing 2 damage, but it means that the 3/3 sticks on board, which means he thinks that he's going to be able to connect with that again. That's also interesting because it means that, well, he's playing for board control again. He's not playing to just finish the game with burn.
And from Boarcontrol's point of view there, he knows that that kill command came from tracking. He can kind of say, well, now I know that it's so unlikely that you have kill command in hand. So here, if you had cheap beast, kill command hero power, yes, I'd lose. But that's just so unlikely because Mysterious would have played the kill command not from the tracking there. Yeah,
because looking at the situation now, of course, with that Animal Commandment, like if he does get a 4 or anything like that in hero power, then of course Ball will have to try and find a way to get some health back, which you can do. You can get 4 HP afterwards, but then again, it's still going to be a little bit of a struggle. And you mentioned it before, he's already used a kill command already, which is great. But of course, I don't blame him for using that anyway, just due to the fact that he's running out of options here, apart from that Rexar. Yeah,
he's running out of options, and he can't actually play the Rexar either. He's on a game plan now, which is, I'm going to hero power you until you die. That means that it's a safe plan until you change your hero power into, I'm going to build a beast. So
yeah, it's a little bit too late now, isn't it, for that pretty much?
At what point do you have to concede that you're not going to get there with hero powers before the board kills you, though? I mean, obviously there is a Venom, obviously there is a Venom Strike trap up that we can't see, but it is up. So Boarcontrol, be aware there's a couple of those in Mysterious's deck and maybe try and play around it. But at what point do you just say, I'm actually so behind on board here, I have to Rexar and just try and take a couple of turns to build beasts and get there because otherwise I'm just going to die?
Well, you may have to because you spoke about before where, maybe if you get something quite large with Rush or maybe Lifesteal or Taunt or anything like that, it's not that he can come back into the game, it's the fact that it can extend how he's positioned at the moment on board and maybe even turn things around here. But that Gul'dan, it's looking quite tasty.
It's looking super tasty, but I don't know if he needs to be able to get there. So if he attacks in, the Venom Strike is triggered, which means that it will go through his 7/7 taunt next turn, killing him. He needs to be able to find a way to potentially clear this board or heal out of range, which could involve tapping or playing the Defile or setting up a Defile, which I don't think is entirely possible right now. Otherwise, he's just going to die, and the Mysterious is just going to get there without having to consider whether he needs to play the Rexar or not.
So if Boarcontrol trades into a 3/3 here, then there's not actually lethal on board, right? 'Cause the Venom Strike, the Snake trades in, minion goes 3/3 goes face, and hero power sets him to 2. So Boarcontrol definitely not going to want to life tap here and look for an answer. That seems very optimistic at best.
Shall I go Whisper? Shall I go on stage? Whisper gone life tap for us just to see what happens.
His worry
do it for the lads.
Yeah,
his worry will be that Mysterious has got so many answers in his deck, or not answers, outs in his deck. He's got bow, he's got kill command, he's got Houndmaster. He's got ways that he can do this. He's got one Razor Maul left as well, I believe. So
no, both Razor Mauls.
Oh, both Razor Mauls. So he's got ways, but again, if Mysterious doesn't just kill him this turn, you can just kill him on the reverse. Oh, there it is.
That's your
Yeah,
answer,
that's
really.
That's just it.
Nice little weapon.
I did like this from Boarcontrol though, because he could basically narrow down the card in hand to be either maybe a Mossy Horror, but that would probably have come down, or the Rexar.
Yeah.
So he kind of knew that had to be a top deck. And unfortunately, unfortunately for Boarcontrol, Mysterious gets it. But Mysterious is going to be leading the series 2-1 now.
That's right. Mysterious does take that, and it's now 2-1 in favour of Mysterious. And quite strangely enough, you know, we said with Boarcontrol as well, you know, potentially one of the favourites to go into this, not just into this match, but just into the tournament as a whole. And to go out here around the top 6 mark, it's like quite surprising. But you know, it's all about the deck sometimes here and there. Even at the end as well, you saw that maybe if you didn't actually get that weapon, maybe you got something else which didn't cause any damage. Could have used that cooldown, got the extra 5 armor, and then afterwards you could have kept hero powering, get more HP, and etc, etc. So there's multiple ways that things could have happened. But sadly for him, that Eagle bow did come down, and sadly for him as well, Mysterious did take that. So Boar's only one game away from already getting knocked out from the competition. Pretty bizarre stuff.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that it comes down to decks, because the other player who's been eliminated today is Ben, and what lineup is Ben playing? He's playing the same lineup as Boarcontrol. So even though Boarcontrol I think he's called his half of the bracket really well. He actually had a lineup that was super favoured. He's been unfortunate. Paradox was very lucky against him and knocked him out, and as a result, Boarcontrol is now facing elimination too, and it's starting to look like this sort of lineup, this anti-control greed lineup, just hasn't worked this weekend.
Well, one thing I was going to point out is the fact that you say like they kind of like mimicked each other's decks a little bit. It's kind of like back at school where, you know, you see someone's homework, it's like, oh, do you mind if I copy your piece of work? And they're like, yeah, that's fine, no problem. And you find out you both got like 10% in your exam.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Ben and like Boar are kind of in that kind of situation at the moment. Or don't get me wrong, if Boar does make this comeback and win it 3-2 and win the whole tournament, then Ben will be like, well, we thought we had the same notes, and Boar's probably like, nah.
I mean, if we look at it, I don't think it's all doom and gloom for Boarcontrol here. So he has this Even Warlock and Quest Rogue left, and it's up against Mysterious' Token Druid, and these typically are very, very tough matchups for Token Druid. Prepping for the tournament, that's kind of one of the reasons that I was looking to avoid Token Druid. I expected Quest Rogue and Even Warlock to be extremely popular, and when you expect both of those to be in lots of lineups, you maybe don't want to bring a deck that really struggles to get wins against them, unless you're planning on banning one of those, which obviously with the Mysterious' lineup, he's not.
Yeah, well, I was going to add as well, on top of that, is the fact that you're seeing, like, in this matchup, Even Lock is quite favoured in certain scenarios. The only thing we can say about Mysterious is at least he's got that wild growth into coin nowish anyway, so he's got a bit of an advantage in terms of how he wants to use his mana cost and how he's actually going to get through this. But, you know, look at Boar's hand right now. He's got 2 Hellfires, he's got a Defile, so in any case he does use that Whisper of the Woods, he does use that Soul of the Forest, he can just take up one of the minions, defile it, clear the board, that's perfectly fine. So he's got plenty of options there. And it makes you wonder really, you know, even though Mysterious has got quite a nice hand in terms of his ramp, what can he do after that, you know? Yeah,
I mean, choosing to coin out this Nourish here, it's kind of meaning that he's either going to be playing Giggling Inventor or Branching Paths next turn. And in doing that, it's actually not that powerful a board. He's either using a buff card to draw, which is fine in situations where you need to, or he's just playing a Giggling Inventor into a Taunt Minion and Twilight Drake, which isn't really that threatening, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit rubbish. It's looking good for Boarcontrol. I also liked that Boarcontrol understands the matchup, so if you saw turn 2, he had the option to play the Vulgar Homunculus, but instead he chooses to hold it back, tap, and then next turn tap again and play the Homunculus, because he's looking for his Twilight Drake and his Mountain Giant, the big threats that the Druid can't deal with because they don't run Naturalize, and he understands that he doesn't actually need to rush it out. It's not about contesting early minions, it's about mounting enough pressure, finding all the right cards so that you can sort of have bigger, better turns, bigger, better minions in the mid-game.
Yeah, I mean, the best minion it could have faced against after a wild growth was going to be maybe a Saronite Chain Gang, and obviously a 2-4 just lines up so badly against that for Boarcontrol that, yeah, I agree with you. I think it was really smart of Boar to not play the 2-drop there and just recognise that he just needs to get more resources. Druid draws a lot with cards like Ultimate Infestation, and if he doesn't keep up on resources in hand, then that's how Mysterious is going to be able to build a board that Boarcontrol isn't able to answer, and then just be able to go for, you know, the Savage Roar, Branching Paths, Lethals.
Yeah, because it can be quite a quick game, don't get me wrong. Like, if he got those Giants a little bit earlier, and obviously with his second Giggling Inventor, it's really, really helped him a lot because that scale on top of that. You know, things are looking a lot better than what we expected, but it's like I mentioned before, the amount of AoEs in Boar's deck now is, well, he's pretty much giggling, you could say.
So Boar's just done the lean in that I think I've just done. I was just seeing Toastmonster also lean in. This is the characteristic lean in you do when you're trying to work out if you can clear the board with Defile.
Yeah, I mean...
Is that 1 HP or 2 HP? Like?
The Giggling Inventor just looks like it should be defiled, and I remember when the card came out, someone would play it and I'd just defile, and I'd just be sat there looking at 2 1-2s like, oh yeah, that looks like a defile, but it really isn't by itself. And I think it's kind of the same here for Boarcontrol. It's an awkward shaped board at the moment. And picking up the second Spellbreaker here to be able to silence one of those 3/4s back into the 1/2 was quite nice.
Yeah, if he wants to as well, he can taunt them up, which is what he's doing to play around potential sort of cheese wins, as they're described, where you just get them very quickly with a Savage Roar and a branching pass to end the game. So he's, again, he recognises what he needs to do. He doesn't need to get max value. He doesn't need to always clear the board. He just needs to make sure he survives to the late game, where he can clear the boards of wisps and trees and tokens, and just take the game away from Mysterious.
Yeah, I think
so good.
I think this has been quite smart by Boarcontrol. I mean, I know obviously we said earlier that it's not about contesting the early minions, but after the Druids ramped, it's kind of like, well, it's your early minions, but it's their later game minions. And Boar recognising that shift in tempo from the game here, able to just play minions that do actually contest the board and also put taunts in the way.
And Mysterious is now committed. He's gone in with the Savage Roar and the branching path. He said, this is the earliest I can do a big turn like this. And what my plan is it's to put you down to a low health total. It's to put you down to a low health total and hope that you don't have the AoE quick enough so that, well, I can kill you before things get out of control.
Yeah, I love how you say that as well, and it's like, I hope he doesn't have any AoEs in any way. He's got plenty. He's literally rich in that department right now, so it depends how he wants to take this out. Of course, he can trade and go for the Hellfire anyway, but then again, look at his HP as well. He hasn't really got too much to play for. He can use a Spellstone maybe to at least get more HP back. He's got plenty of ways to actually get out of his situation, so I don't think he should be too worried, but I think it's best to at least be as cost-effective as possible without being too greedy at this stage.
Yeah, it's the ultimate infestation from Mysterious here that Boarcontrol's definitely scared of. I mean, when a Druid opponent, plays Wild Growth on 2, Nourishes on 5 for ramp, particularly in Token Druid, which is the deck has the most argument to actually draw cards with Nourish over ramping, and then does this play on turn 9, you have to kind of just assume that ultimate infestation's coming down, and Boarcontrol's a turn away from going sort of Hellfire Spellstone to clean up this whole board, and this might be an issue for Boarcontrol. There is sort of he can Spellstone and trade Defile to clear the board here, but that's a lot of resources just for this small board, but I think he's going to have to if he doesn't want to die to this ultimate infestation.
It's quite a smart play by Mysterious, I think, really, using the Savage Roar and the branching paths to effectively make Boarcontrol have to react in a way that sort of plays around the outs that he has, like a swipe, for example. If there was double swipe here, he'd be terrified. If there was another Savage Roar, he's in trouble. The UI means that Hellfire can't be used as part of the clear. It's all very tricky. If Boarcontrol survives this, if the board that Mysterious makes now isn't good enough, and if Boarcontrol can get away with a Hellfire and a Spellstone turn, he's probably going to win. But Mysterious has put him on this turn of, you need to survive now, and then sure, you can win later, but surviving now is what you have to do.
Yeah, I think whether we see Arcane Tyrants come out of this ultimate infestation is going to have a massive impact here, because Boarcontrol can go for a Hellfire Spellstone turn here, but that can't clean up everything. So the Tyrants are going to be very, very key here, and it doesn't look like Mysterious has managed to find any here, which might give Boarcontrol the breathing room he needs to be able to get out of range here. Yeah,
that's very surprising, because considering in the circumstances where every time I use an infestation, I get at least one every single time without fail, and considering how many turns it's been now, it makes you wonder, like, what on earth is going on? Maybe in the past, when we talk about, Hadron's been right at the back of the deck and stuff like that, it's quite interesting, like, to see, because sometimes I'll risk it just to kind of like overdraw by 1, just assuming that I'll get one of the Tyrants, because it's so common now, and it's just how strange and how weird it's actually come to this stage.
Yeah, so it's super close now. If Mysterious picks up, well, another swipe, for example, he wins. He can even, if he wants to, he can play the Death Knight that he's just drawn, and he can hero power. He can just put Boarcontrol so low, and he can make Boarcontrol have to react to so much, and it gets to a point in the game where Boarcontrol now has to say, okay, so I can't beat this card, I can't beat this card, I can't beat this card. These are the cards I can beat. These are the cards I'm going to have to play around, and that is what Mysterious has done to him. Yeah, because that's the one thing as well, is the fact that you spoke about that. One thing I was going to point out as well is the fact that he does have that swipe. He does have 9 damage in hand, technically, and as you can see on Boar's side, he hasn't really got anything to heal himself in any way. Maybe if he gets like a Death Coil from Lich King or something like that, but apart from that, he hasn't really got much else.
Yeah, and this has been a very, very smart lethal setup by Mysterious here. I think he could have even taken taunts here and it would have been fine. We can see the double Spellstone in hand to clean up any minions Boarcontrol plays. That's sort of 12 damage for 2 mana. And I'm not actually sure if there's an out for Boarcontrol here. He has to life tap.
I think it's
done.
done.
Yeah, and that's going to be a concede. A Mysterious able to take down Boarcontrol.
Yeah, 2-all now. It's like, Boar's not going out yet. I love how, as well, I spoke about how it's going to be quite surprising anyway if somehow we get knocked out into the top 6 and it's said and done. But he's obviously heard me in his ear and gone, nah, I'm getting that reverse sweep back anyway. But as you spoke about before, it's now 2-2 and it's the final decks now. It's, you know, it's going to be a tough one because it's two ways to see. You've got like Boar, who's like, of course, arguably one of the best anyway, but I have to see how things go.
No, that's Boar going home. That's it. He's one of the first people out, and I can't believe it. I thought he was one of the favourites going into this tournament. I thought that he would do it well, but at the end of the
apologies.
Day,
yes, you're right.
At the end of the day, Boarcontrol and Ben, who have the same lineup, have both gone out at the same time, first in the tournament.
That's one of the weird things, because it's like, it would have been weird just to see Mysterious just come outside the top 3, because, you know, he's been doing it the last 4 events, so it would look a bit weird if he did it, in fairness.
Oh, this isn't top 3 yet, though. It's top 6 at the moment.
That's what I mean.
Oh, right.
That's what I mean. He's got to make that loser bracket run.
He's still got to make it to top 4, top 3. That's just how that's his style.
It's just his role, isn't it, pretty much?
I've reappeared. Hello, I'm back.
How you doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad. I've returned. Toast has a massive head compared to mine. It's huge. Jesus. But I've got it on. We're all good. We've recovered from that. How's it going, boys? What do you think of that one? Obviously, a big upset, really, in the grand scheme of things. The fact that Boarcontrol is one of those players that we've had on a pedestal for quite some time, right? Always been a huge staple in terms of the scene and what he's achieved, even at the Prem alone. That's a shock. That's actually quite a kicker. He's done for now. Yeah,
we've had 2 upsets already. Of course, Ben got knocked out earlier one as well, and Boar on top of that. It's become really interesting. We've got some nice storylines here. And, you know, I think you probably say the same as well. You know, you've got last year's champion knocked out quite quickly. Boar as well. He's, you know, the Anki in the HGGs, obviously known in the scene for arguably one of the best players. And, you know, it's quite surprising stuff, to be fair.
Yeah, well, this post-match roundup suggests it all, really, doesn't it? You can see that the tale of his series is that he tried with Warlock and failed with Warlock 3 times. I don't know if Warlock is necessarily the best pick in the tournament at the moment.
Yeah, we've seen it quite a lot before. I think someone else with the Secret Hunter as well lost literally 3 times in a row. So, you know, that whole rinse and repeat and just try it again, sometimes it don't work.
Sometimes it don't work.
Do you know what's interesting as well? Statistically, the player on the left has won every game so far. So Boarcontrol, he was set up to win that whole series, and he didn't. He's Earthquaked.
I love it. I like it. But
get the Earthquake.
Maybe we should just go on the left side the whole time. Maybe we should just compete and just make sure we're on the left every single time.
Well, both of you on the left right now.
That is true. Actually, you're furthest left, so you're winning.
Well, I was going to say the issue with that is that in the actual screen, I look like I'm on the right-hand side because it's a mirror image.
Winning,
yeah, that's true. It depends on which way you look at it.
The folks at home don't know this, but I'm on the left because I'm the better player out of the sort of the 3 of us.
Yeah, it goes in a tier chart of how good you are at Hearthstone. So obviously being on the actual left, I am the best. But something that is the best is these bad boy PCs we have been using all event that you can get your hands on yourself. They're from Gaming from Curry's PC World. And of course, you can pick them up in your local Curry's PC World. Head on down there. You've also got the link down below as they are ESL certified PCs. They're what the players have been competing on the whole tournament, and they are fantastic, aren't they, Harry?
They are fantastic. You know, I couldn't ask for a better one to have for Hearthstone. You know, I'm sure you will as well.
That's very true. You've got to take in all those details. You've got to have that higher frame rate. Leroy, you exclusively play on high frame rate PCs from ESL.
Oh yeah, the highest frame rate possible, the highest megahertz, gigahertz. I want all of the hertz. That's I'm all about the hertz these days.
It just wants the smoothest cards really in the game. That's all he asks for.
The smoothest cards.
Exactly.
You want it looking sleek, like a real card.
Yeah, you don't win if it's not sleek.
Oh, it's very true. You know, you have to be sleek the whole way. Someone that is sleek is Frankie Ward. She's up on stage once again. Mysterious is slotted in position. Mysterious, what went on there? You've won it.
Jackie, I've never been described as sleek before. Have you seen this hair? You should see me in the morning. It's even worse. But yes, I am with Mysterious. He's made it to the top 4 of every Prem in history, and he's made it to the top 6. So a little bit of a way to go before he secures that statistic for yet another season. But statistically, speaking of those, surely your aggro decks should have had a bit of a tougher time against Boarcontrol's anti-control decks.
Exactly. It should have been a bit more hard for me, but I've managed to win the Paladin against his Evenlock, and I've managed to win my Token Druid against his Evenlock, so I guess that's what made a difference between his deck and my decks.
How do you feel about knocking out one of the front runners in this competition?
It always feels good to beat a top-class player like Boarcontrol. In my opinion, he's the best player in the UK, so it feels amazing.
But you normally practice against French players. Do you rate them higher than our British boys and girls?
Yeah, so I practice a lot with French people. They also have a lot of very talented players, but Boarcontrol is a top-class player, so he's really, really, really good.
Although you're in the lower bracket, you're still with a shot at that grand final. Who are you most nervous about facing on the way?
I will be really nervous to face Paradox and Death Row because they have some really control lineup who is probably going to smash mine, but everything is possible in Hearthstone.
Exactly. Everything is possible. Good luck, Mysterious.